Yeah, Preeti ji, what you can do is you can share what you did to get that experience while meditating.
I did that no, we had 2 days before that put on that video and was guided meditation.
Okay. Good. Hi, Owen.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing very nice. Think we can start. So today, I think thanks to Katrina that she said that nice sutta. She keeps on reading it. From what she was saying that, and then she has a very nice question. So then I went through it. It was a good experience for me. I somehow had not gone through that DN21 sutta myself. So it was a very nice awakening moment. So almost in tears, I read that sutta. Okay, so I can.
Many gods in that sutta.
Yes.
Many gods of different and difficult names. Difficult to remember.
No, it is. No, it is correct. See now you.
I've gone through once, but it was difficult for me to.
Okay. See in that sutta, first of all, it is Sakkapanha, meaning Sakkapanha means questions of the Sakka, which means in Indra. He's also called as Devendra, and that is also the Devendra in Pali and Devendra in Sanskrit. So Panha means questions. And if we look at it, there are two sections. The first section is the Gatha. And there is a way to recite the Gatha. I think most of the traditions know it, like a Burmese tradition, and in Sri Lankan tradition, they master how to read the Gatha. And in Indian also we have way of reading it aloud. So many people read that Gatha. And after the Gatha is over, we come to the questions by Sakka. So we'll go through that question, and that is the most interesting part. So I will not be going through the Gatha. Okay, otherwise this is going to become a very big, because it is in Diga Nikaya, that is very big one. So I will I'll go through that sutta, and before we go into the deeper into the sutta, there are 4 conditions. Okay. 4 conditions through which a human being, to the Deva, to the Gandharva. There are 2 kinds of Gandharva. One, the Gandharva which enters into the womb, and one Gandharva which is a fairy. Fairy in the sense that they stay in a realm which is full of music. So let's say you are in the 8th jhana, and if you are able to stay there in the sense that you get into perception or neither perception, and then let's say that we are able to get into that samadhi. Then what happens is you start to listen the music which are divine. So then you will be able to hear the music as humans, like any instrument, and then you are able to hear into the divine music. So normally on the 8th jhana, if you have got into it, you get into a stage where you can hear nice music. So there are different kind of music, and the one what is mentioned here is an instrument in India called as veena. It's a stringed instrument and it gives a nice note. So that that person is a Gandharva, and he brings his veena. And you can search on net. Those who are Westerners, they might not know. All Indians know about it. So you can search for an instrument called as veena, VEENA, and then you will find that instrument. And that is the instrument what he brings in. And there is a particular music tone to that, to sing a gatha. So what that fairy is going to do is to sing the gatha on the Buddha. And that's the reason Buddha then says that the music and your gatha, they both are very well synchronized. And I'm very happy about it. And then Sakka enters into the scene with his question. So we will take it from there. So before we go there, I was talking about 4 conditions. The first condition is that when these divine beings and humans, what's the common thing in this is that they don't want, including humans, they don't want to mess up with anyone. They don't want to fight. They don't want to argue. They don't want to do things which will take them to the lower existence. They know it. Meaning, we as humans, it doesn't matter what religion we follow or what tradition we follow, whatever we are, but deep within us, we know certain things are not good. But yet we do it, that is secondary, but we know it is not good. So then Sakka asks, why is that the same people, the same being who is a Deva, who is a human, demons, dragons, fairies, even though they don't want to do any one of the immoral thing, they fear, and yet they do it. This is the question. So now the answer is of 2 things. One is jealousy and one is stinginess, miser. That is the reason why a person as a human don't want to have enmity with anyone, creates enmity with people, like what we are seeing between Ukraine and Russia. Simple. They don't want violence but turn violent. They don't want hostility but they turn hostile. They don't want to hate but become hatred. Why? So he says, because of 2 causes. One is the jealousy and one is stinginess. So then the next condition, what makes that happen? And then there is a key word there. If you try to translate that in English, slightly difficult, but we have to do that. So he says peer appear. So pia means liking, appear means disliking. So these are the 2 extremes. So if you have remembered the Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta, Buddha talks about 2 things. One is Kama Sukhalukanu Yogo, and then he talks about the second one, which is Kila Matanu Yogo. So going behind sensual pleasure is one, and making yourself very discomfort, or very taking oneself very down, is the other one. The two extremes. So whenever we go to an extreme, we get into piya. Piya means to like, and in Sanskrit it is priya. Okay, and the other, you add a in front of it or a in front of it, it becomes apiya, and in Sanskrit it becomes apriya, which means that likes and dislikes. These are two extremes. So you start liking something, and then after a while, if you don't get it, you start disliking the very thing what you liked, because there is a kind of hatredness that gets generated that I did not get it. And that is the cause of jealousy. Meaning, first I see I like something, and let's say somebody in our group has more than what I have, that I feel for my caliber. If we take just as an example, we can take an office. 10 people are working in the office, same designation, same qualification, and the same kind of work. But when appraisal comes and everyone is appraised, one person gets the highest rating and the next person gets not that good rating, another person gets another rating, another person gets another rating. All are dependent on the perceptions of their manager, who thinks that this person has done well and hence I'm giving him a higher rating. This person has done to what I expected him to do, so I'll give him a normal rating, and this person has not done what I have informed him to do, so I'll give him a lower rating. Now the person who has got the lowest rating becomes jealous of the highest rating because of the value it attaches. There's a value. So as long as we carry value, so long it's going to be jealous, because anything valuable, anybody would like to possess it. If it is invaluable, that is, there's no value at all, nobody wants it. So all that we are trying to get in our life is what we value. So, one second. So what we can understand from here is that the peer, the liking, happens. If it happens, you don't want to give it up. And then the person becomes miser, stingy, because he doesn't want to lose it now. It has come after such an effort. Let's say I got a promotion and I have worked hard for my promotion, and I had to please my boss, and then only this was possible. And if somebody asked me to give the promotion back, I'm not happy. I wouldn't give it. So I turn stingy, thinking that the promotion is the most important thing for me, because it increases my salary, it increases my living standard, it increases my level in the society, it does a lot of things. So I just cannot give it up. If I don't get it, and another friend or a colleague of mine has got that, even though I have worked hard, real hard, I can tell my own example. So when I was working for the organization, I had a next door neighbor. Just behind this wall was my friend. He and I were colleagues in the same organization. I was taking care of one kind of products, and he was taking care of another kind of products. It so happened that my superiors in the US they felt that I have enough capability to lead the organization, and then they made me head of the organization. So I was heading the organization. The engineering was with me. So I am now the head of the engineering. The friend of mine who was staying just behind my wall lost it. And he started feeling uneasy about me. Even though we both are friends, not even colleagues, we are friends. But he started feeling uneasy. He started feeling jealous about what has happened. And he was waiting for an opportunity to make sure that I fail on something so that he gets it. If he had got, he would have been very happy. So this head of engineering was the most important thing in his life. And since he couldn't get it, he started feeling jealous. And it was quite obvious. Whenever we used to drive from home to office, or when we meet in the US, we could see the hostility being generated between us, even though we are friends. We are friends, we're not enemies. Friends, but yet. Okay, so the question now is why this happens, why this peer and up peer happens. This is a good thing to see why it really happens. So then he says, is because of chanda. Now this chanda in Pali, the English equivalent word, they normally put it as desire, but it is not. It is fondness, F-O-N-D, fondness for something. I'm very fond of something. The very fondness to possess it, the very fondness to make it as mine, becomes the cause for the liking and disliking. Like I'm promoted, it becomes my fondness because I have worked for it. I have really put in effort. So it's mine. It should be mine. So now I'm very fond of it. So when I am very fond of it, I like it. If I don't get it, I dislike it. If I like it, I will not give it. So it becomes miser. If I dislike it and somebody has it, I want to get it back because it's mine. So then what I'm going to do is to go into the jealousy. Then Taka asks, okay, this part I understand, but why does a person get chanda, fondness? Then he says it's because of vitakka. We have covered this vitakka a long time, but you have forgotten it's from two words, takka and vi plus takka. Takka means to debate. In Sanskrit it becomes tarka, in Pali it becomes takka. Takka means is to debate. Vitakka means extreme debate within yourself. So you keep on debating, oh, what should I do and how I should do. So the three sankharas will come into existence. So you first do the mano sankhara. You start to feel and you start to perceive. So when I get promoted, I start to feel the promotion. It's real. I feel wow. And that wow feeling is wow feeling. It's a feeling. And I perceive that to be true. Why? Because I'm enjoying it. It's good enjoyment. Like I go and buy something, I feel very happy because there is a wow feeling. I go and watch a mountain, there's a wow feeling. If I go and watch a waterfall, there's a wow feeling. If I go and do a bungee jumping, there's a wow feeling there. So everything we do, we have a wow feeling there. And all that we want is that feeling. This, wow, I got it. And that feeling has a perception. You perceive that as happiness. So this promotion, or this going on a holiday, this trekking, this mountaineering, this skiing, this boat ride, this, that, all of that is related to vitak, where I literally debate within myself and go behind something which gives me that wow effect. Now then, Sakka asks, okay, what is the cause of that? Then he says, it is apanja sanya sankha. In fact, he asks in 4 types. What is the, let us say, papancha sanya sankha nidana, papancha sanya sankha samudaya, papancha sanya sankha jatika, then papancha sanya sankha pabhava. Pabhava means effect. What's the effect of that? Jatika means birth. Then samudaya means coexistence. Then nidana is origin. So what's the origin? What is the cause of this coming up? Then what is the cause of the birth of that? And what is the effect it can give in that one question? So for every question you have these 4. Okay. Now that we have come to the papancha sanya, it's from 2 words again, papancha and sanya and sankha. So let's deal with papancha. What do you mean by papancha? The English translation is proliferation. There is no other way to explain that. You proliferate. You make some length of something. If somebody were to ask me that, oh Vilas, you got promoted, I heard you were very happy. Now I'm going to create a story out of it. I'm going to say, you know what, so nice. How much I've struggled to do that. I did this, I did that, and all those story is proliferation. Sanya is the perception. So I perceive that what I have got is something out of the world. It's making me feel extremely excited. It's making me feel extremely elated. Sankha is estimation. Now what happens is you set a value. So generally human beings and the Devas and all of that, they set a value. And from human being onwards, there is a value stream. So whenever we speak in life, we talk about the value. What's the value you're going to get out of this? So it should be in some logical order and normally in numbers. Every logic works on numbers. So if somebody were to say which country is big, this or that, it depends on the value what you're going to attach. Like we take another simple example today. COVID positive, COVID negative. It's a value. Now what is the sankha is the value here. Sanya is the perception. Papancha is the COVID. Now when it comes to COVID, if somebody is COVID positive, it means bad. If somebody is COVID negative, it's good. Who defined it? We only defined it. Nobody else defined it. Now, blood pressure 120/80. It's an average. It's not yours. It's an average. But that's accepted standard across the globe. So when I give my hand and ask him to check my blood pressure, he is going to pump it and say that, wow, you are at 120/80. Perfect. What if it is more? No, it's bad. What if it is less? No, it's bad. It's 120/80 and 120 to 130 and 80 to 89 is good. If you're 90, hypertension. So you fear. If it is 120/80, I enjoy. Why? Because that sankha is there. So now if you add all these four things up, why are we jealous and why are we stingy? Take the blood pressure, 120/80. I don't want to give it to anyone. Why? Because I feel happy. Whatever I feel happy, I'm not going to share. It's mine. I'll keep it. Something similar with COVID negative or whatever it is. Anything in life, tangible, intangible, you don't share it. Now, what if it is 150/100? I'm ready to give. Why am I ready to give? Because it is negative. And somebody has been exercising, keeping a body fit and the same age and same kind of condition, and that person says 120/80. Now I feel terrible upset because I feel jealous about that person, that nothing has happened to him while I am in pain. That we can see due to papancha sanya sankha. And how that happened is because vitakka, debating. And why that happened is because of chanda, fondness for something. And why that happened because of the piya. And why that happened is because of jealousy and stinginess. This is how this gets back connected like a paticca samutpada or dependent origination. So this is dependent on that, and that is dependent on that, and that is dependent on that, and that is dependent on that. So if the end result is jealousy, what's the starting point of that is papancha sanya sankha. If we remove the papancha sanya sankha, that means if you remove the value, COVID positive, COVID negative, leave both the values, positive and negative. It's a disease. Doesn't matter. You get fever, you get nose, you get terrible cold, you get cough, you get body aches. It doesn't matter whether it's called as COVID, it's called as whatever name. It really doesn't matter. What you're supposed to do is take rest. If you remove that value, then there's no vitakka. If there is no vitakka, there is no fondness for one particular kind. If there is no fondness for one particular kind, then there is no piya. That is liking and disliking. If that is not there, neither you will feel jealous of somebody, nor you will feel stingy of anything. Now you will put it to money. Same. It's made out of paper, has some value. It's there for using it for shopping or for buying something for living. Some people are living for earning. It should be earning for living. The moment it becomes living for earning, that means I live for earning. I live here to make profit. Now I have a problem created because it is papancha sanya sankha. When the papancha is created, automatically the proliferation creates that kind of perception that without that I cannot survive. and I start to multiply, think about it. So now I go invest in mutual funds, I invest in stocks, I invest in this, that, and want to make it big. And I debate on that, vitakka. And then because I'm fond of investing, I'm fond of making more and more money. And that fondness has come because of the peer. And now that has come because the peer is there. I either become stingy. So somebody asked me, Vilas, tell me, how come you're making so much money? I say it is a trade secret. If you want, I'll share it with you, but it'll cost you so much. If you see today on YouTube, there's so many people who would talk on stocks. In the end, they say that if you want to know more, book an appointment with us, and this is the cost. Why? Because I'm stingy. I cannot give it for free. And if somebody is doing more than what I am doing, I feel jealous that he's doing something which I am not able to do it. So when we have this concept of earning for living instead of living for earning instead of earning for living, we have a problem. Now the person is creating enough misery for himself. So then, when this happens, when this Papancha Sanyasanka happens, it creates concepts. So in the world, it's only concept. If you really watch carefully, everything we do from morning till evening is only conceptual. There's nothing which is real. It's concept. Everything is a concept. Sales pitch is a concept. Marketing is a concept. Finance is a concept. Then economics is a concept. Everything is a concept. There's nothing in this world which is beyond a concept and beyond a perception. Everything is perception and concept oriented. And we say, this is a concept. This is my concept. So when we get into that, what happens? All of these four things happen. So this is a condition. When there is a conceptualization, the world of conditions get created, and that makes you miser and jealous. Now Sakka asks, now what's the relief from this? What should we do? Again, Buddha talks about 4 states, or rather 3 states, and two kinds in each state. So there is 3 words of Pali. One is so manasa, do manasa, upekha. Now what is so manasa? This is mentally pleasurable feeling. It's not bodily. It's called kaika. Whereas it's mental, it is so manasa. Manasa means mind. So means good. Do means bad. Actually, it comes from 2 words, su and du. Su means good, du means bad. So when we put this sukha and dukkha, su plus akha is sukha and du plus akha is dukkha. Akha means what you experience from that sense. So if I am saying that through eyes, through chakku, I am feeling sukha, that means the sight I am seeing is translating itself back as su plus akha, sukha. If I am seeing by eyes and that is not getting back to me in the same form as what I expected it to be, it becomes du plus akha dukkha. Akka means from what sense you're getting, you're expecting, you're getting back from the same sense. If I'm seeing, the same thing comes with light being there, I get that. If I'm hearing, the sound will come with whatever it comes. Taste, touch, smell, same thing. So when we say so manasa, it's with the connection of five senses, the sixth sense, the mind, as a sensitive layer which then picks it up and makes it what it wants from whatever information is coming from the five sense doors. It takes that. It becomes so manasa. Then there is do manasa. That is a mind which is not happy with that condition. Then there is upekha, equanimous condition. Generally, if you see we are going on road, we have hundreds of people walking up and down. Not you're going to wave your hand with all 100 people saying, hey, hey, how are you, how are you, how are you? No, you don't. You will be passing so many people on the road. You don't even bother. That non-botheration is called as upekha. You really don't bother. And also when you're going in the car, so many sights are going. You don't even care what those sights are. And when you're walking, there's a lot of sounds which are going. You don't care. So when you don't really care, or you're indifferent to what senses are coming and going, and that is called as upekha. So he says there are two kinds that you should save it. Sevita means to develop. Seva is to do a service. Sevitappa means to take that service, take that and do something. Asevitappa means don't take it. If somebody is giving you a gift, hey, take it. And then you know it's not good for you. So you say, no, thank you. No, please take it. And say, no, thank you. That becomes asevitappa. And whereas here it is sevita. Means you take it. If somebody is giving you and you say, please give it to me. So we should take something which is good and don't take something which is bad. So he says that how do you know what is good and what is bad? So he says that which gives you 10 moral, take it. That which gives you 10 immoral, leave it. Don't take it. That gives you happiness. But in the end, he says a very beautiful keyword, but that English translation is not that good. So I will first recite that in Pali and then tell you what exactly the meaning is in English. Tatha yancha savitakam savicharam yanche avitakam avicharam ye avitake avichare te panittare. What it means is that we have three kinds of vitakkas. First type of vitakka is just vitakka and vichara. In English can be put as thinking and pondering. You think, thoughts is vitakka, but it's actually debating. So you debate and you think. Then ponder over it. You spend time over that. Maybe a minute or 2 or 5 or whatever minutes you're going to spend on that is called vichara. Chara is to move, vichara is to move along. So when we move along with that, it becomes vichara. Then the second one is savitakka savichara. Savitakka means adding something than just this vichara. So generally in the jhana, Buddha asks savitakka savichara. He doesn't talk about vitakka vichara. That means already I'm thinking on something and pondering on something. To cut that, I need to add savitakka savichara. I'll give an example. Let's say I'm hearing some song. It says 500 miles away from home. And I've just listened to the country music. And then I'm sitting and meditating and I close my eyes and the mind is chattering 500 miles away from home, and that song is going and going and going. No matter what I do, it is not going to go away. So now to cut that, I have to bring something else against it. So now I'm going to bring that Etan, Santan, Etan, Panitan, or I might say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa, or whatever I'm going to recite, I'm going to recite. After a while, this Vitakka Vichara will go away. In its place, it's replaced by Savitakka Savichara. And then the third one, the beautiful one, Panitare, that is, it's fabulous, is when you don't have Vitakka and Vichara at all. Avitakka, Avichara. The first thing, develop happiness or somanasa, which will give you gladness of your mind or an elevated feeling of the mind by developing the kusala, the moral deeds. Then slowly remove that. Now you don't have to contemplate on kusala. Just drop it. Then the mind is silent. There's nothing out there. So first was akusala, vitakka vichara. I brought in savitakka savichara, which is thinking and pondering on Dhamma. And then I dropped that and peaceful. Beautiful happiness. But that is better. But he says, when I cultivate that, when I cultivate what? Cultivate the moral habits, it brings in peace of mind. But when I leave that completely, not have any thoughts at all, anything to ponder, it's perfect. Now this one we understood. But what about Domanasa? He also says the same thing on Domanasa. That is, okay, this I can still understand for the first part, wherein he says, make sure that unskilled qualities don't grow, because that is going to bring in Domanasa for you, meaning you will feel the pain. Okay, agreeable. Then akusala, immoral, I do it, I tell lies and I'm caught, get into problem. And I'm talking nonsense and somebody catches it and then I'm in the problem. Then I'm speaking harsh words and somebody catches it, it's a problem. And I'm doing slandering against somebody and that person catches it, it's a problem. And I'm having an illicit relationship with someone and somebody catches it, it's a problem. And I'm killing someone and the police catches me, it's a problem. If I'm stealing and somebody catches me stealing, is a problem. And I want more things for myself and I'm grumbling and somebody catches, and that's a problem. And I'm feeling very agitated with myself, become red totally, it's a problem. Agreeable. So I will take this and see a kindness, a state or cultivate domanasa, which will not bring in dasa akusala. Now, why should I be in a domanasa? Why should I cultivate the other kind of domanasa? Here, the domanasa he is talking about is the jhana. I am not able to attain the first jhana because of the 10 immorality. I'm not able to attain the second jhana. Again, due to the same reason. So till I go into all the rupa, arupa jhanas, absorptions, it means it's not going to work out for me. So I'm very sad. I'm very much hurt that I'm not able to achieve. So I need to develop the domanasa for jhana, for absorption. But Indy says that you should, when you develop, so you have vitakka vichara, gone. Savitakka savichara, that also you drop. Come to avitakka vichara. Then what happens? There is no attachment. If there is no attachment, you will be able to progress from there. So when I sit on the first jhana, even I'm sitting with closed eyes, or I'm walking, or I'm whatever I'm doing, I should be able to get into the jhana. It's not about sitting and closing my eyes. When I'm walking, I should be able to stop the mind from chattering. And if it is chattering, I should know it is chattering. That becomes domanasa. Now I am able to achieve the first jhana. Or if I am not able to achieve the first jhana, I know the reason why I am not achieving the first jhana. And hence, domanasa. Then he says there are two kinds of equanimity. This is even more, very deeper than the other two. What is being equanimous is not reacting. The first time when we meet people, we don't react at all. There's no reaction. We just shake hands. Oh, my name is so and so. Oh, I see. Your name is so and so. Okay. I stay in this country. Okay. I live in that country. Blah blah. Then this is my interest, and he or she say this is my interest, and we say okay, we'll meet next time. No problem there. Next time we meet, slightly we go more. Then again and again and again and again and again, it creates an impression. So anything that is not created an impression so far is beautiful. It's not created any impressions. And that is equanimous. So yesterday I met Naveen. So we had more than 2 hours of talk, of discussion basically. By now, Naveen has made one kind of image in his eyes. And he's going to keep that image, for sure. And I'm going to create an image of Naveen with me, because we have spoken for 2.5 hours, or 2 hours more. What if we had spoken just for 5 minutes? Hey, I'm Naveen, I'm Vilas. What are you doing? I do this. Oh, I do that. Over. Oh, nice to meet you. Finished. It's upekha. But now we have spent 2 hours. There's a relationship created. And that relationship then creates a mess around in a general relationship. But we are doing the Dhamma, it might not create such kind of issues. But if it was, let's say he's from SAP, or he was working for SAP products, and I'm also from ERP, so we both are ERP people. He's a competitor to me basically, because I was working for non-SAP company, so we used to beat SAP companies. So then we both are business enemies. Even though he is working for his organization, I am working for my organization. So when we meet, we have to meet without bringing the products into consideration. Otherwise, it creates a barrier. The first time when we meet, there won't be any barrier. The second time when we meet, there would be barrier, because I need to think what I need to speak to Naveen, and Naveen has to think what he needs to speak to me, because there are company secrets. He cannot share that, and I cannot share it either. We are bound by the organization. And that kind of equanimity is not equanimity at all. Here, the equanimity, what we are talking is that when you meet, you don't have any impressions. But that is not skillful. It's still unskillful. It has all the 10 immoral deeds associated. Because we have not got into an opportunity, because we have yet not got into the condition, that's not come out. Otherwise, it's going to come out. So what he says, you place your mind in such a way that the equanimity creates a condition for moral deeds to happen. And then he says, as explained in the other two, here again, you remove the vitakka, vichara, avitakka, vichara, you have to do. That means vitakka, vichara is gone, savitakka, savichara is gone, you have avitakka, avichara. This is the best. So in all the three, he says, develop skillful. That will remove the unskillful. So first, so manasa, create the skillful, reduces unskillful. Okay. Come to the do manasa, mentally disagreeable, mentally pain. Develop the skillful so that your jhana starts to rise. So that your bad conditions, the hindrances starts to vanish. So you create the pain like that, meaning say that I need to get into equanimity, or I need to get into the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana and practice. If you're not getting it, take the pain. That is, you feel domanasa. Oh, I have done something mistake. So that's the reason I'm not able to get it. So let me do it again. Like in the case of Richard, he was able to see anatta. Now, something is holding him. So if he brings him domanasa there, it is mentally disagreeable or mental pain. Say that, why am I not getting it? Let me work it out again. And then it comes. Second one. Third one, on the equanimity, the same way. I am getting equanimous to people whom I don't know, but I am not in equanimous when to the people I know. True. Why am I not equanimous to those people whom I know? Again, those 10 unskillful qualities are there. So let me see which of the unskillful qualities, that is 3 by body, 3 by mind and 4 by speech, 3 plus 3, 6 plus 4, 10. Which of the one is causing this? And cut it. So then, what would this lead to is remove the stinginess and jealousy. And he comes out of papanja sanya sankha, proliferation, which creates a perception, and that proliferation and perception creates the sankha measurement to enumerate, add it up, bring it up to some number, to some logic, saying that, wow, this is the number I was looking at. Like even if on jhana we can get it, 9 jhana, wow, that's the one I want to achieve. That is sankha. But it is not papancha sanya sankha. There's no story around there. You have to work out from 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. But that is still a sankha. So you need to develop that skill set and ultimately leave that sankha. Leave that number. If I'm associating with the number, I'm going to kill myself. So ultimately, I need to start with vitakka vichara, worldly matters, Savitaka savichara, Dhamma matters. Avitaka vichara, nothing matters. Now it is calm. No numbers, no games, no estimation, no perception, and hence no feeling. And that's a 9 jhana. Sanya Vedaita Nirodha. That means no perception and no feeling. So the moment I put number, the feeling starts because of the perception. So the number creates problem. Number means value. How much is this house valued? That's the problem. If the market value is more, but my house value is less, I'm a loser. If the market value is less and my house value is more, I'm a gainer, just like in shares. Right? So my investment is growing. Good. My investment is slump because of the Russia-Ukraine problem. The share market in India has dipped. So today I'd been to the bank, and the bank guy was saying that, Vilas, your investments, you should be doing that. I had gone for some other reason, and he was selling me investment, saying that, the Ukraine and Russian problem, and that is made the market go down, and you should buy this, you should buy that, you should invest now rather than taking off money. You should invest in the market and all that. I was listening to him. Okay. And I came out. So that means I need to really visit all of these, because we are in a society and we are all lay people. I'm not a monk, so I need to go to the bank and do all what I was doing. And these people are going to sell something or the other. So I need to listen to that, not get upset, because I need to be maintaining upekha. I can't say, look, I am following Buddha Dhamma, and because of that I don't want to listen. No. He will say what he want to say. Internally, I shouldn't take anything. And then I maintain upekha. So if I do that, then what happens? Then the two, which is jealousy and stinginess, will go away. So then he asked another question. Can I ask you one more? Let's go ahead. But how does your monk do it? What do they do? We are not monks, but what do they do? So he says there are two kinds of bodily behavior, just like that. There are two kinds of verbal behavior, just like that. And there are two kinds of mental behavior, which are like that. So there are two kinds of bodily behavior. What are the two kinds of bodily behavior? He says that which will take you down, don't do it. Which will take it up, do it. Can be anything, any body behavior. So only three things can take us, any one of us, down. That is killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. Three things can take us down straight. And then two things which takes the verbal speech into a bad realm. That is telling lies, slandering, harsh speech, and nonsense speech. These four shouldn't be cultivated. Then he says that you should pariyesan, meaning to put effort. When you put effort, you have to again look at these two. One which takes you to the right direction, one which will take you to the wrong direction. Put the effort which will take you to the right direction, which is kusala, which will remove the 10 immoral deeds. Do that. That which doesn't give you or increases the immoral within you, within me, shun it down. No matter how much it comes up, don't take it. Shun it. Okay. So that is pariyesana. This we do it through mind. You put energy, but that energy is coming from the mind. It's a mental energy. So I see a mosquito flying by and I feel, wow, this guy, if it bites me, chikungunya, then malaria, then this and that, and I don't think so. This idiot is supposed to be living. And then he flies past. Take him off. Akusala. So, killing. And then I do the stealing. I feel that guy has many, what he will know. I will take like that if I keep on doing one after the other. That I'm doing through my mind. So the effort I'm putting, the mental effort, is on akusal, immoral. Shouldn't be doing that. So the pariyesana should be something which will take you to the higher, the lower. Okay. So he says that don't do that. And I'll go down. So he says this is how monastics work. That means they take care of their bodily, they take care of their verbal, and they take care of mental putting effort, pariyesana, and they keep on working toward. And then he says, wow, that's good. But I have another question. Can I ask you? He says, go ahead. But how do your monks control their senses? He himself gives the answer later. He says that there are two kinds of sight known by the eyes. Cultivate the one which will create sense restraint. Don't cultivate the one which will create sensual stimulation. So now what does that really transform for us? We are not monks. We are on Dhamma, all of us, but we are not monks. So the three questions to be answered. Number one, can a lay follower reach Sotapanna, a stream entry? Second question, can a Sotapanna, can a lay follower be able to do all his work and yet walk on Dhamma? Second. And the third one, can a lay follower finish his monastic or Dhamma education? Sekha, can he do that? Sekha is a learner. So three things are learner. Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, all are learners. The learned is Arhat. The learner is these three. Now the question comes, can a lay follower like us be able to do at least, if not the learned, but the highest of the learning, which is Anagami? Can that be possible? And the answer is yes. Through what? Through this section. Now you have another thing called as Yoniso Manasikara, Ayoniso Manasikara. So it's like a boat and you have a raft which you can turn this side and this side. So as you turn one side, the boat starts to go the way you want it to go. If you turn the other side, the boat will now turn in another direction as you want to go. Eyes are like the raft, are of that how you move your control. So if this eye goes somewhere, it becomes ayoniso manasikara. If the eye goes where it should be going, then it is yoniso manasikara. Now we have spoken about ayoniso manasikara. It is good to know again. Yoniso means go to the root of what the mind is doing. Ayoniso means not able to see what the mind is doing. So it is also in English called as thoughtful reflection and non-thoughtful reflection, meaning not being aware of the situation. It's also called a situational awareness. That means you watch the situation and you don't get caught up by the situation, you respond to the situation. So I don't have to become reactive to the situation. That is ayoniso manasikara. If I am responding to the situation, it is yoniso manasikara. So on all the 5 senses, sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, I need to have a yoniso manasikara. Not ayoniso manasikara, I should have yoniso manasikara. That means situational awareness, or I need to know where the mind is going. Just like a rudder, using that, and you make the boat go where you want it to go. I earlier spoke about raft. It is not raft, it is rudder. So you take that control and see where it is going. Or we have a steering wheel on the boat, and then you use it in a way that it takes you to the proper place. So sound, 2 kinds of sound. One which are sensual, one which is not. Sight, one which is sensual, one it is not. Taste, one which is sensual, one it is not. Now how do I go to the non-sensual? First exercise, this you can try it out, is watch the objects fall off when you turn your head. If you're turning from left to right, the left one will go away, only the right one remains. If you're turning right, left, then the right one falls off and the left one remains. If you're walking, all the objects are falling back. They're not. It's just like your rear view mirror. All the objects appear over there, but you cannot catch and hold one object and put it in your, wherever you want to put, in a bag or in a pocket or wherever. You cannot. It's appearing for sure, but you cannot take any one of them as yours. In the same way, all the eyes, what is coming, the light and the object which is coming, they just come and go away. I don't have to catch anything, basically. If I know this, I will not do mistake. That becomes yoniso manasikara. Now the sound, same thing. Various sound comes. Why should I take it as mine? Just a sound. So if I do that for sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, it's enough. It's good. That means mind becomes equanimous. So the more the equanimity, the higher we can cross from the Sotapanna to Sakadagami, from Sakadagami to Anagami, because as we come to Anagami, there is no Kamachanda. The Kamachanda requires the 5 senses to be operating. Here the 5 senses are in Upekha. They are not really going here and there. So the rudder of the boat is perfectly aligned. The person is aware of which way the boat has to now to be steered. Or he is cruising. No problem. So when I do like that, or when we do like that, then the mind, the 6th one, which creates all the sceneries, will not create anything. The 5 senses plus 1, 6. The 6th one, to attack the 6th one, you should close the 5, and then the 6th one closes. So this is how you restrain the senses on sight, sound, taste, all that. And then Sakka himself will read out what is required. And then he asks another question. Do all ascetics and Brahmins have the same doctrine, ethics, and all that? And Buddha says no. Then he says, because they have various qualities. In here, it's called as elements in English. Dhatu is treated as element, but Dhatu is not element. Dhatu means quality, because it doesn't make sense. All Dhatu is only four elements. If you were to take, are the only four elements: the earth element, the water element, fire element, and the air element. But you can't put everything else as an element. So he says the quality. So he says, whatever quality the sentient beings insist in this world, they come with those kind of diversities. And they stick to that. And when they stick to it, they insist that this is right and that is wrong. So I'll tell you what it really means. Now, in the world today, we have so many religions. If all the religions were preaching the same thing, no conflict. Since different religions talk about different things and different viewpoints and different concept, different condition, different story, different literature, different kind of explanation, different commentaries, different of difference. Now what it should be, every person or every religious person, religious head, whoever, whatever it is, would claim that this one is right and that one is not right. That means this is the only truth and the others are silly. Mogha means it doesn't have anything there. Don't go there. What I'm saying is the only thing. That is why not all ascetic and Brahmins have the same doctrine, ethics to liberate, and they get attached. But he asks another question. Does that mean that all ascetic and Brahmins reach the ultimate end, ultimate sanctuary, ultimate spiritual life, and ultimate goal? He says no. Then he says, why? He says two reasons. Those who have given up craving, they have. Those who have not given up craving, they will not. So craving for what? Craving for their doctrines, craving for their opinions, craving for their theory, craving for their stories, craving for the founder. That's the biggest one. Craving for what they think is right and trying to prove others as wrong. Because there is so much of craving and so much of holding on to it, grasping onto it, they cannot. And that's why they cannot do it. And then he asks another question. He says, in my understanding, I have found that eja means highest form of passion. It's more than fondness. I really want it. Just like I see food and I cannot stop it. I feel I need it. If somebody were to just any time in the night or in the day, he would say ice cream. My mouth starts watering and I need it right away. That's called as ija. Aja has a problem. It's passion. Highest passion. What problem it has? It's like a disease. It keeps on following you. It will never make you at ease. Dis-ease. So you are not at ease. Then it's abscess. Just like keeps on bursting open. Like a dart. You get pricked in the same place and you enjoy that prick, because now unless that person is given that drug called ice cream, is not going to let it go. It can be ice cream, it can be coffee, it can be tea, it can be alcohol, it can be anything. All these are passion. Another kind of passion can be sensual. The highest form of sensual is sexual. So that is also a passion. So everything is passion oriented. So if somebody says that I'm passionately in love with my wife, what it really means is that he's on edge. That means he cannot let it go. He's become a drug addict, an addict. Any addiction of any form is going to ruin the person, is going to bring him rebirth. And he says, that's the reason I find the people, the beings, including the Devas and all of that who have assembled there, are high in status and low in status. So then he says, to be honest, after you spoke of all of this, I want to say that in the other ascetics and Brahmins, when I visited, they didn't even give me a chance to ask these questions which I have asked you today. So it was there as a doubt for a very long time. And now you have clarified. And then the Buddha asks, fine, but tell me, can I ask you, what was your experience with the other ascetics and Brahmins? Now he says, you see, I have visited many ascetics and Brahmins. And when I visit them, I ask them, I want to find out, I want to understand what they are doing, because I believe they are doing much better than what I am doing. So I go and then approach them and I say, I am the Indra. And looking at me, they feel, what karma made you become an Indra? And from whatever Dhamma I know, I explain to them. And instead of questioning me, they feel satisfied. And they feel very happy that they did the penance and they saw Indra and they seek some kind of favor and they go away. There is nothing that they have learned, they have taught me, or they have explained to me. Instead, I have taught them something and they feel very glad and they become my disciple, instead of making me their disciple. That's what he says. So what it really means is that he starts with the Isha, which is jealousy and stinginess. He ends here in why, if we were, let's say we are as many people sitting here, we go into meditation trance and then we see an divine being coming and talking to us, what would happen? Just imagine that happening. Aren't we feeling glad? That is fondness. Aren't we feeling fear? You feel liking. That's again a problem, because that creates craving. And then there is papancha sanya sankha, which is proliferation. Now I create story. I tell my wife, you know what, I was meditating, and then a light came, and I opened my eyes. I couldn't believe my eyes. I saw one Deva, and he was talking to me. I didn't know that he can talk my language. I felt very glad. And then he asked me, "What do you do?" And I explained what I'm doing. And then looking at that, he asked me, "I'm very pleased with you. Ask me whatever you want." And then I asked what I wanted. And he said, "It will be done." And he left. So now I go on YouTube, or I go and write my blog, my experience with a deity. That's a failure. Why? It creates two things: jealousy, stinginess. If somebody were to ask me, "How did you get it?" Now, I don't want to tell him what I did. I'll say it's a secret. Only for the very few I can tell. I've been asked not to inform everyone. This is how I create my own mess. Forgetting what I should have done. Forgetting that it's only Dasa Kusala which takes me higher, not Dasa Akusala. So if I create Somanasa, Domanasa, Upekha, and also restrain the senses from going here and there, then whoever comes, whichever Deva comes or a human comes or whatever form comes, they are just forms. There's nothing to get excited about it. And just deal with it the way you would deal with anything. And that is what I need to be doing, or we all need to be doing. If we want to cut the samsara, meaning after learner stages is anagami, and if we go into the learned stages, is arhat, which cuts the samsara, or the going and coming, the circling is cut. If we have to do that, then we shouldn't get into the two things: peer, appear, liking, disliking. Instead, stay centered, equanimous. Don't go to two extremes. One extreme towards liking something, another extreme of disliking something, and that is what creates tanha, craving. If there is no craving, then there is no upadana, which is to grasp. If there is no grasping, then there is no bhava, to become. If there is no bhava, then there is no jati, which is birth. If there is no birth, then there is no old age, death, and all that. So we cut the Patisamutpada cycle, which is the dependent origination. And we see the Four Noble Truths in everything. So the first noble truth about Isha and the Matsarya, that is jealousy and stinginess. First noble truth. It's dukkha. Both are dukkha. Then the reason for the dukkha is upadana, is tanha. Then the liberation from that is removing that craving. And when the removal of craving happens, then the noble eightfold path is completely seen. So from Samadhitti to Samma Vimukti, 10 steps, 8 plus 2, Samma Jnana, Samma Vimukti. So now we can consider liberated because there's no craving. That's a beautiful sutta. So our practice should be to look at these two things, which is jealousy and stinginess. If I am stingy, then I need to see what caused the stinginess. It's the liking and disliking. If I become equanimous to liking and disliking, then there is no chanda, that is the fondness. If there is no fondness, Then there is no vitakka, no thinking, debating. Then there is no papancha sanya sankha. So I am relieved. I think that's it on this sutta. Katrina, did it answer or it went overboard or?
As I told you, I didn't have any question. I just shared with you that I appreciated learning this sutta, and maybe you wanted to discuss it with the whole group.
Yes. I wanted to discuss the whole group, but you had put one line there about that peer. So that's the reason I asked you.
Yeah, but this is one of the chain, one
Yes.
of the many things in the chain.
Right.
And
It's okay.
definitely, now listening to you, your descriptions, I thought of some other characteristic that, what do you think when you talk about stinginess and jealousy? Can it be also described as arrogance?
Jealousy doesn't actually necessarily mean arrogance. Jealousy means that you didn't get what you expected out of it. So somebody got it. So then,
But exactly, arrogance is usually the quality that may appear when we compare ourselves to the other and we feel superior and we feel our achievements and the other one has not. And we are stingy. We don't want to share our achievements. We want that the other stays lower. So we feel kind of arrogant, superior towards that one.
no, for arrogance to happen, Katrina, I mean, what you're saying logically makes sense. I don't disagree on that. But if you really see deeper, the arrogance will come when you have it. First, you should have it. Then you project it, and then you lose it, and somebody gets
Yeah.
it. And then this arrogance shows up, and that's the reason all of these happen. But if you just look it deeper, you'll find that there are only two things which keeps on playing around with these two. Is that you first like something, and what you like you possess. You would like to possess. It's not nothing to do with arrogance as such. Let's say I want to possess an iPad as an example. Now I've seen iPad. Everybody has iPad. It's not that only I should possess an iPad, but I love iPad. At present, I don't have $1,000 in my pocket. I want to buy iPad Pro and it's $1,000 and it is not there in my hand currently. My friend gets it first. I wanted to get it first, and then if you've seen in the US, I don't know whether in your country it is like that. If you see the US, they do this Black Friday and this and that and Christmas sale and all that. You should see the amount of people standing in the line night itself to pick up the material, right? Now that is where the stinginess picks up, because I want to have it to a level that fondness creates that interest that I shouldn't lose it. So I have already made the papancha. That means I have proliferated that information that it is Black Friday, we need to go for shopping and this is good. Oh my goodness, it's so nice. And then you do it. It's got nothing to do with arrogance. Once you buy it, you feel arrogant because you got it, right? So now I flash it. So why people put on Facebook or on Instagram and all that, they become arrogant about it. Look, I got it, I've done this, I've done that. That's arrogance. What you say makes sense in a very practical way, and logically speaking, that's how it is. But if you deep dive into it, it's not the arrogance which caused this. Because of this, arrogance gets created. So now when arrogance gets created, I lose it. Somebody gets it, and I've not got. See, there are some people who say that I'm very perfect. The very act of perfection is because he's seeing the threat. So he wants to hold on to it. So when he fails, when he or she fails, they'll immediately put a blame on someone, because they are always perfect. They can't change their perfection thing. But when they win an argument, when they win something, they project their arrogance. That's true, because they got it. What if they don't get it? They're jealous from inside and they're in pain, but they showcase in such a way that, you know what, this time it would have happened, but I know my strength. I do this, I do that. It's inside they're being pinched because they didn't wanted to lose it in the first place. It is mascharya, which is nothing but stinginess. So if you go deeper, you'll find the proliferation, the story making or the value creation is the one which is creating this. If you remove the value, let's say there's no Black Friday sale. You just look at whether you want it or you don't want it. You want it, go and buy. It doesn't really matter. Then the value stream itself is removed. So when we remove the value, there's no thinking. If there is no thinking, there is no fondness for that. If there is no fondness for that, there is no likes and dislike. If there is no likes and dislike, there is the question of feeling stingy of holding it or feeling jealous. You'll not feel anything. See, now you look at Ukraine and Russia problem. It's because of all these four. If you really see, it's got nothing to do with arrogance or this. It's just holding on to something, saying that it is real. That's the story. It's this underlying story. And hence Ukraine and Russia are fighting, and other countries are either supporting it or there's conflicts everywhere now because of the story. You remove the story and see everyone as a human being. Nothing. We're all begging for food. We're begging for shelter, begging for clothing, begging for medicines. That's a basic thing. But we put a value stream, and now when you compare the dollar versus rubles, dollar versus Indian currency, dollars with Swiss franc, now you see the fun. The story creates that passion that I need to be the number one country. So dollar is the number one currency. So even though euro is there, euro is at a lesser rate than dollar. So now whoever is possessing dollar, would he want to give it? He wouldn't, because the rate is high. So let's say a person working and getting in dollars versus rubles, he's in Russia working, they are going to pay him in dollars. Will he take dollars or will he take rubles? He'll take dollars. And then he'll convert into rubles. That's how this works. So will he give dollars? No, he wouldn't. He'll keep it, because as much as he keeps it, so much is the value is going to increase. That's how this whole thing works. And hence the problem. Good one. It's 10 o'clock. So any questions, or shall we end this nice sutta?
Would you just share your experience, because you said it made you cry? So what specifically touched you? What understanding reached your heart?
Which one really made me get upon that is not on those, but how you should connect yourself to the kusala in the three, that is so manasa, do manasa, upekha. That one brought me tears, because that is the one I could see. One takes you up and another takes you down. It's very clear cut, meaning there's no imagination. And I was reading it, and when Sakha prays to Buddha, I felt like, I am going and doing that, and touching his feet and saying that, wow, what an enlightening to me. I really felt it, and it's made all my hairs stand and tears come.
Amazing, but I was also especially impressed by this cultivating of kusala and akusala.
Yes.
That actually, yes, the mind will be thinking anyway. We can't really stop the mind thinking. But if we generate kusala, or if we work on kusala, and the mind will still be thinking, then no problem, no danger from this mind thinking, because we
Yes.
will do the wholesome deeds.
Yeah, the thing is, the mind has to be cultivated. It means it's like a field. You cannot keep the field open. Something will come and keep on eating. So what you need,
Yes.
what we need to do is to give it something. Give good things, so it will keep on doing good things. If we give bad thing, its job is to cultivate it. It just keeps on cultivating. So we create habit. So cut the bad habit, keep the good habit.
Either it is dangerous or it is very useful.
Yes. Either way, the mind is the one which establishes itself into the next life.
Exactly.
So why create mental pain and suffer? So I also had another experience with related to this. Consider this. One is the world. World is created of 5 senses, and the 6th sense makes everything up. So we have called something called as a world. And the world depends on concepts. Then there is a being, just a being, without any conception. If I start seeing the being, all of us are being. The most scariest thing right now for all of us is, where are we going? What's our destination? We don't even know. And that is scary. It doesn't matter how much more we are going to live. That's not a question. The question is, where are we going? Where are we heading? We remember our home. Let's say I've gone to some country or gone to some place, and I'm sure to reach back home. Do I know the other home, which the mind can pull it? I have nothing I can do. Have I cured that as a being? Forget the world, as a being. So that created a sense of urgency, a sense of compassion for everyone, because everyone is in the same trouble. There's absolutely no person sitting here can say, yes, I found it, I know where I'm going. No, none of us know. So that's a fear. And that is why Buddha says, Bhayatena dukkha. Now that is the greatest dukkha. Because we have to start all over again, that is okay. But where are we starting? We don't know. Isn't it that we need to invest our time on that rather than the world, thinking that whether Ukraine will win or Russia will win or that will happen or this will happen, whether Switzerland will join or that will not join, what will happen to India, what will happen to this country, that country, in this world, and whether the market rate will increase or whether the petrol prices are going to increase or whether COVID will be there or COVID will not be there, whether everybody will get their vaccine or they don't get vaccine, whether the money will be made out of it or no money will be made. What a horrible sight on the world. Just think, the being, everyone is in the same trouble, irrespective whichever country it is and wherever it is. All beings, including the birds, the insects, and the animals, and all of them taken together, including plants, including trees, all same problem. They are non-sentient. That means they cannot feel the presence of something. We can identify, animals can identify that I am, and then they come fighting. They want to protect, they want to run away because there is a sense of I am. But in our case, we can know who is this I am. Whereas in their case, they cannot know. In the plant case, they're just there, stationary, but they have life. Now, if this life is removed, what happens? Where is our destination? Don't know. That fear stops all akusala at once. It's just like this. So I was very happy that, wow, just by putting this, there is no akusala. It just stops there, because I don't know the destination. Isn't it right for me to know the destination? And the third one, consciousness. It's a magician, just like the Pena Pindupama Sutta. This consciousness can establish the mind. If it established in a good existence, good. Established in bad existence, suffering. So shouldn't I, as consciousness, as mind, work towards establishing in a good realm, so that I know where I'm going through my actions, through the body action, speech action, and mental action? That's another experience where the dasa akusala, 10 immoral, immediately, if not completely stopping, it just goes so down that you can't even see where it went. Just put the destination. I know my home. I'm in Bangalore. I know exactly where I stay. Do I really know where I'm going? The next moment, the breath is going anywhere. I have no idea how long I'm going to breathe. If the breath stops, I don't know if heart attack happens or something happens. No idea. That's the last breath. And where it takes, a hard feeling. No matter how much Dhamma I know, how much I have taught, or how much I have spoken, how many videos are there on YouTube, all that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And nobody cares what I have there. So the possession orientation immediately stops. Because after this body ends, it's like a bus stopping on the highway, and you're dumped out, saying that, hey, get out. Now that's the end destination for you. And I scratch my hair. Oh shucks, which way should I go now? And the bus is gone. I'm left there to fend myself. No money in the pocket. No cash, no bank balance, nothing. I have no idea. Absolute no idea. And I don't even know what that place is. I was jolly in the bus or in the train, whatever it is, and I'm out of it. I need to search. And that is given to me based upon the karma, the deeds of the past. What deed? Good deed, bad deed? Which will come? It's a permutation combination. So shouldn't I really work it out? And this was another reason for the tear to come, because when I read this, I felt, wow, this is excellent. Shouldn't spend even a minute doing nothing, doing only this, because this will remove akusala. And when akusala is not there, that means I know the destination at least. If I am not going to be liberated as an arhat, at least I am an anagami completely. Knowing for oneself I am an anagami. That's a better thing. So there's no cheating of myself. There's no telling lies. There is no conceptualization. There's nothing that can say I'm creating concepts in my mind. It's practical, convincible, experientiable, and then you know you have done it. That's all what is required. So just put, what's my end destination? If I were to die, not die, if the breath were to stop in next 5 minutes, 4, 3, 2, 1, what next? How much kusala has developed? That's sufficient. All the dasa kusala will be just gone, that fear. And now we can penetrate anicca, because now you can see every breath is reducing by one by one by one by one. And then that creates the fear. And then you can be in anatta, because now there's nothing you can do, right? So now you cannot hold on to the breath, that's gone. You cannot hold on to any dream, that's gone. You cannot hold on to anything as mine, that's gone. So basically you are not there. So you feel at peace, you're not holding on to anything. That upadana is not. I was talking to a lady called Sogol, and she's from Colorado. She was watching Bhante, not Bhante, Ajahn Amaros, and he was talking about Penapundupama Sutta. At the end of it, he says that open your fist, and then she somehow got it, and then she felt, actually, if you really look at it, the first one is a Rupa, second one Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. So you're holding like this. So this is what is called as 5 grasping aggregates. So now you drop it. This, it opens up. You see there's nothing there. You're just holding, like fisting like this. So the fist is opened. So she was explaining to me, then a vision arose in me. I said to her that because this consciousness is freed, all the other 4 are gone. The Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara is gone. Because the Vijnana, which is the magician, is no longer creating magic with this 4. So you are relieved. So you literally get that anatta experience, where your mind becomes completely rid of everything, no concepts, no I in that. And that, at the very moment, you touch Nibbana. So I was talking about Richard experience to her, and I think she's also heard on the YouTube. So she has heard, and she was saying she has emailed me about him, that when you said like this, I had the same experience in the kitchen, and it's been 17 months since that I have not had it. What's the reason? So I was remembering Richard, that he had that experience while seeing TV, and he knows he has experienced it, but then how do we get back? Getting back is, so I was telling her that remove dislikes, likes and dislikes. So when I read this happened before, Katrina, you gave me this. So when I read it, I felt, wow, this is exactly what I had told. So that was another happiness moment for me. So that's the reason I messaged you, that after you shared it, it doesn't look too much of a difference, but the difference it made is that it made even more stronger Dhamma in me than what it used to be earlier. And I need to thank you for that, because you just were trying to figure out this sutta and you shared it. Very much grateful to you for having done that.
We can see that the way you're explaining things and kind of sharing the inspiration, I just now understood when you were talking about this thinking of the last moment, of the death, of the destination, final destination, I just understood something for myself.
Go ahead.
That's why people sometimes don't get inspired so much about what I'm telling and sharing, and I go from one side and another explanation and an example and something else, and they say, yeah, it's clear, it's okay, because they don't feel. You have touched the truth, the original truth, the final. You have touched more than we have done. Then let's talk about my personal experience. And as you know something by your own experience, you have the taste, you tasted it, you know it more. So when you talk about something, it gives for you yourself much more sense than for the others who have not tasted the same. So you are having this kind of pleasure explaining and giving all detailed description of this taste, because you know how valuable it is. So when you give this inspiration about whatever anger comes, we should actually think of the death, for example, and all akusala will disappear. It will not work for everyone as it works for you. For me, for example, only because you are speaking about it, I try to go into there, and only with serious contemplation of that, I do feel that fear, and I understand what you are talking about. But immediately like this, it doesn't appear. because I didn't connect so much as you connected. You see, so, but this is the magic of Dhamma. Dhamma teaches us a lot, and whoever is at whichever level ready to understand, this is what we get. So whatever you are telling, we can just say, oh yeah, okay, nice. Or I can say, oh yeah, there is something true in this. Or somebody who experiences it at your level, like you, can say, oh, yes, that's true.
I understand.
But
I get it.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, whatever you're teaching, you're given a lot. We can take whatever we can take.
Yes, absolutely. There's too much on the table, so you can take what you can take.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of food.
I see how you feel only if I try to contemplate on that.
Right.
Without contemplation, these words don't touch me. Think about death, no, nothing disappears immediately. And okay, idea about death, but no, death is not here, death is not real. What is real is this problem, is this anger, is this, more attachment to this rather than you have switched the attention to another thing. Another thing is more important already, another understanding, because you have experienced more. That's the thing.
Thank you. So let's see how much, what I can say, instead of scaling heights, how much down to earth I can come, so that every small thing can be experienced by anyone, rather than bringing out something which I have experienced, and that creates scaling up. That means either they have to come up or they understand, and then they don't know what to do with that, because now that person doesn't experience it in the same way as I am experiencing.
Yes, you have the challenge of the teacher.
Yes.
Although you know already more, you still need to be able to explain less.
Yes.
This is what I have also as a problem with others, and I understood it now thanks to you sharing your view.
Okay, so let me work on that. Yeah, we need to keep on working. That's the only way we learn. So ultimately we have to take pain. So for gaining, you need to take the pain. So there are two pains. One is the Dhamma pain, one is a non-Dhamma pain. If you take the Dhamma pain, you get liberated. If you take the non-Dhamma pain, you get into bondage. But we are taking pain on a daily basis. So none of us can say we are not taking any pain at all. Everything is painful. But no pain, no gain. So to gain something, take the pain.
I call the pain, I also use this kind of expression, but I say this is a pain, this is a currency. We pay already with the pain, so
right.
Let's gain something.
Absolutely. True. So Dhamma will give you a road to success. So we need to see how to create a road which can make many people walk on, so that we can get out of this pain, which is going to be continuing all the time. Okay, anyway, good night and thank you very much for being online. And Naveen, today is being your first day. You have spent 10:30, 2 hours. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so Naveen used to work for software. He quit that, and I think from 2015 he is in search of Dhamma, or he is practicing Dhamma, and he has done the Vipassana and he's gone there. He is also a volunteer in the Vipassana, so he serves people. He does whatever the teachers say him to do, and I think for the last 3 years, right, 3.5 years, he's been doing that. So I feel very happy about him, that he's doing so many things. So may he get what he's in search for. He quit the job for Dhamma. Let him get that relief for which he is in search for. And for all of us, because we are exactly doing the same. We might be in the job or we might not be in the job, but we have understood the suffering, we have understood the pain, and that's the reason we are here. Otherwise we wouldn't have been here anyway. So let us all get rid of the pain and get the Dhamma to experience.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you. Namo Buddhaya. Sadhu, sadhu.
Namo Buddha. Namo Buddha.
Namo Buddhaya, sadhu.
Thank you. Thank you.